Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Raiti from Raiti's Rides. We're back here at Loki Kia in sunny Clearwater, Florida, because guess what? We have been on that mission impossible, and finally we have succeeded and track one down. This is what you've been waiting for. This is a 2022 Kia Forte GT. But before we get into this turbocharged, updated, and refreshed Forte, let's talk about what's going on here. The Kia Forte, it's been in their lineup for many years, and it's interesting because I really feel like it doesn't get the true love that some of their other models have been getting, especially, you know, when you look at the Stinger GT, you look at the Telluride, even look at the Seltos and the Sorento, a lot of people forget about the Forte. Now, it received a redesign back in 2019, and that got a lot of people excited because they really liked the changes in the direction that Kia was going with the vehicle. Now, in this compact sport performance sedan segment, there's a lot of heavy hitters. You look at the long-standing Civic Si. You, of course, have the sister brand to Kia, which is Hyundai. They have the Elantra N-Line, and of course, if you want to go full performance, they have the Elantra N. And then you can always go over to Mazda, get yourself a Mazda 3 turbo sedan with all-wheel drive. Lots of different ways to kind of figure it out. Now, you do have your hardcore examples, like the Civic Type R and that Elantra N, Veloster N. But what about the people who don't want to go full performance in? Maybe at a price point that's more obtainable or something that's just a little bit more palatable for everyday use. That's where the Forte GT comes into play. Now, the interesting thing is, whereas some cars like the Civic Si, you could only get with a manual, this, you could have your cake and you could eat it too. It's like going to Burger King and having it your way. You could go 6-speed manual or you could go 7-speed DCT, that dual clutch transmission. So what I want to find out is, has Kia done enough for 2022 with the changes that they've done to the Forte GT? And the biggest question many of you have been wondering, is this the better car to buy for the money over the Honda Civic Si? Let's go ahead, let's dive into our GT2. Yes, not only did we find a Forte GT, but we have the top trim, a GT2, and see if we can answer those questions. Let's go do it. Right off the bat, some of the changes. Where are the changes coming? They're coming from the front of the business. Now, we've already brought to you other trims of the Kia Forte. You're gonna see some of those changes, but this is their top dog in this segment. Now, when you look at the headlight design, you're gonna see how they refreshed it. They went full LED turning lights and daytime running lamps and LED headlights. Really like the way they angle the headlight housing, and they did a similar setup to the Stinger GT, which the way they broke it down into these different segments rather than just having one running all the way from front to back or back to front. Now, as you work your way down, you have functionality. We got these functional corner air intakes. If you notice, this little silver trim reminds me of a Stinger GT. A little bit of gloss black, nothing too crazy, but the great news is it is functional. Now, as we come across the front, more changes for 2022. Now, if we're comparing this to the Civic Si, the Si received a full redesign. That's the new 11 generation. Remember, this is a refresh, so take that into consideration. You do have that updated, upgraded Tiger Nose grille. Love the way the silver only comes to a certain point and then the rest is color match painted. You'll notice with the GT, you're gonna get the red accents because red means race, right? Means go fast. So we gotta put some red accents there, but I am digging the nice aluminum finish. It matches nicely with, of course, that updated Kia badge. Working your way down, massive functionality on the lower end. And I am liking the way that they designed this lower grille area. Peeking from behind is gonna be that massive intercooler for our turbocharged engine. And then gloss black splitter that runs along the bottom. And then one thing you're not gonna find on a Civic Si in the United States are fog lamps. Guess what? We have LED fog lamps on both sides. And I really like the way they shaped the housing. They made it gloss black to match those corner vents. And the red touches, I think, is really, really hitting the nail on the head. The only thing is, and I don't know if this is my eyes, you tell me, this red does not match that red. This is a little bit darker, this looks a little bit more kind of like a faded red. I'm very curious why, and I don't know if those are my eyes. You tell me, what do you think about the red accents on this Forte GT? Now, when you get up onto the hood, just like all the other Fortes, you're gonna get a slight rise in the hood. Everything goes towards the windshield. Everything curves towards the A-pillars. It's actually pretty clean styling. And the way that they work the headlights with the housing looks very aggressive. Now, if you look at the front of the Civic Si, a lot of people say that it's kind of got a little bit more tame for 2022, and everything is flat black. No gloss black whatsoever, like on our Forte GT2. Coming around the bend, what are we working with? Wheel and tire setup. So these are gonna be the upgraded wheels. You're gonna have machined aluminum with the red center cap to match the red treatments all over the front of the vehicle. This is an 18-inch wheel, 225 on the width, and a 40 series sidewall. This is front wheel drive, just like the Civic Si. I do like the metallic gray finish. If you go Civic Si, you're looking more at a satin black finish, that satin flat black. Let me know what you think. I think for me, sometimes when you see something that's not like every other wheel, it kind of stands out in a very good way. And I think that these wheels work, especially with the particular color that we have. I think the biggest thing that's a zonk compared to the Civic Si, there's no limited slip diff. So if you like getting good traction, especially when coming out of a corner, this is not going to work as effectively as, of course, a Civic Si. Now, a funny thing is, these are not summer rated tires. If you want summer rated tires, you get that as an option for the manual, and the manual costs $1,000. So for $1,000, you get a manual, 6-speed manual, and you get the summer rated Michelin tires. Very interesting that they don't give you that option for the summer tires with the DCT setup, but something to think about. If you notice on the side of the headlight housing, there's more of that silver trim. I like the way they brought it all the way around, and very, very clean from the side. Now, coming down the rest of the vehicle, you're gonna get gloss black on the mirror caps, LEDs in the turn signals. We do have a sunroof, so we're even Stevens with the Honda Civic Si, because Honda Civic Si comes with a sunroof as well. So you got your sunroof, color matched on the door handles. Of course, you got that little black button to get in and out of by locking and unlocking. I do like the way they work the side sill. It extends out. You got some gloss black with the color matched metallic gray finish. And then working towards the rear, everything else is going to be your standard Forte like you've seen since 2019. Where the big changes are going to come is as we go around the back. Nice, simple, clean trunklet spoiler. I'll have to give a big 2 thumbs up to the Civic Si. I like their trunk spoiler a little bit more, just because it has a more aggressive rake to it to give you some actual downforce. This is more like a additional wicker bill on top of the trunk itself. You'll see the revised taillights, LED, just like up front, our GT badge. I don't like the way they put the turn signals in this lower section. This is a zonk. It's really hard to see when you're behind one of these, and it would have been nice just to have maybe just the reverse lights in this housing. But the great news is, I think where they hit the nail on the head is, check out the rear diffuser. Looks like something off of a Formula One car, and I'm digging the exhaust on both sides. Now, yes, they sort of look like a vacuum cleaner, but they do kind of taper down, so it's not like a perfect square. I'm glad they didn't just do a perfect square or a rectangle. They kind of tapered it down with the shape of the rear of the vehicle, so I am digging that. And of course, we got the Forte badging, but why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood and see what's powering our turbocharged sedan. All right, guys, we got the hood popped. You do have a prop rod, just like the Civic Si, and it's okay because it's all the way over to the passenger side. Underneath the hood, tasteful engine cover, that big, bold word, turbo. I remember once upon a time, really the only turbo badge that you would see on a car was a 911 turbo. Now, it seems that almost every car has a turbo, but tasteful engine cover, what are we looking at? A 1.6 liter turbo inline 4. Pumps out 201 horsepower, 195 pound-feet of torque. Now, the interesting thing is, this is a little bit larger of an engine over the Civic Si. Civic Si actually has a 1.5 liter turbocharged engine. This is a 1.6. Civic Si puts out 200 horsepower. Now, the biggest difference is, what can you get to shift through the gears? Si, a nice slick shifting 6-speed manual. This one you can get a 6-speed manual. We happen to have the 7-speed dual clutch transmission. 0 to 60 in about 6.3 seconds. Quarter mile goes by in 14.8 seconds at 96 miles an hour. And the car weighs 3,097 pounds. MPGs, 27 in the city and 35 on the highway. And like I was saying, when you go GT2, you're going to be getting some extra goodies that we're going to showcase on the interior. But why don't we go ahead, before we get to the inside, let's fire up this GT and hear what kind of sound it makes. All right, guys, we're inside this 2022 Kia Forte GT2. This one having all of the fixings. It's like Thanksgiving dinner with all the goodies on the table for you to just gobble up like a big old turkey. But anyways, I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, I'm stroking my chin just like you are. And I'm wondering, how much is this Forte GT? Because I'm about this close to pull the trigger on a new Civic Si. I'm glad you're here because I have the info that you want. MSRP for this vehicle is $26,300. Think about that. That's less than the Civic Si because remember, the 11th Gen Civic Si got an increase in price that puts it in the $28,000 range. So something to think about. Let's see though what you get when you compare the two. And if you're wondering, well, Joe, I don't want the GT2 package. I don't care about faux leather seats and stuff like that. How much is the package? The package itself is $2,200, but it comes with a lot of goodies. I'll point each of them out for you. Here we go. If you're ready, I'm ready. To the door panels. Now, what you're going to find is up top, you are getting some soft touch material. I wish Kia would have done something a little bit different with the gloss black attempt at carbon fiber, I guess. It just, I don't know, it's just not working for me. I think some nice aluminum silver trim would look really classy and sporty. What I do like is you're getting gray contrast stitching and then the bright red contrast stitching on the armrest, and there's no gloss black around the switch gear, which is great. Door pocket is a little tight, but the good news is you can go get your chalupa from Taco Bell and probably a couple extra tacos in there if you forego any agua. With the GT2, you are getting the Harman Kardon sound system, so that's going to give you a little bit more premium sound to your tunes. And then going from the door panel to the dash, what I do like is the simplicity on their AC vents, nice aeronautical design, soft touch material. And I'm digging, you see this aluminum finish? They should have used more of this on the door panel. Look at the way they put the GT badge here. Very classy, very, very sporty. And then what do we got? New for 2022 is an updated infotainment system. Now the Civic Si has 9 inches. Well, guess what? Kia wins in the size does matters category, 10.25. Now what's wonderful, just like any of their other systems, tons of different icons to choose from. The one thing I don't like that I'm gonna zonk, there's no performance. There's no performance app. All these other great apps, you could go quiet mode for your kids, you could do navigation, but there's no actual performance gauges. And that would have been a nice extra touch, especially with the 10.25 inch screen. The great news is though, you put in reverse, you got nice clear resolution with trajectory, and you got that backup. That's another thing that's part of the GT2 package. You're gonna get the sensors at the back and the front to pick up if anybody's back there to alert you and to stop. And then you put it right back in the park. Working your way down, we got our start stop button. Easy to get to, easy to see. You have dual climate control, which is a nice touch. Doesn't look as high end as the Civic Si. Looks good, just not as high end. I do like the way this has the optional wireless charging pad, part of that GT2, and it's like a shelf, so it keeps your Twinkies separate from your charging. If you don't want to wireless charge anything and you have a radar detector, you got USB, USB-A, and another USB-A. So they got you covered down there. If you don't want to wireless charge, you could put easily 6 Twinkies in here and not bust cream anywhere. Like I told you, this has the 7-speed DCT. So this is the shifter for that DCT. Easy, nice shifting with red stitching on the boot. And I'm glad that they kept the gloss black just on the outer perimeter. When you go GT2, you got 3 stages of heated seats and 3 stages of ventilated seats. Your Civic Si does not have that. So it's nice to see that in here. You got your different drive modes, which I'll show you more of that when we get to the business side. 2 cup holders. Your Kia key fob, looking clean, remote start. Nothing too crazy, but still looking good. You got, of course, your Mentos for when you're eating Funyuns and you're picking up your girlfriend or your boyfriend. You could chow down on some Mentos and get that breath a little fresher. Or you'll have a mixture of probably mint and onion breath, which I think that's worse. I'd rather just stick with the onion breath. But I'm going to have to zonk the armrests. They could have done some faux leather here. It feels like it's made by Rubbermaid. It's like a Nerf ball or something, but you open it up. You got enough room in here. You know how some Civic owners like to put the red Type R badges on their car even though they don't have a Type R? When you beat them in your Kia Forte GT, you could pluck the red badge off of their car and you could put, I would say, probably about 30 of those in here. So happy hunting going after those fake Type Rs out there. Close it up, the seats. Faux leather, so you don't have to worry about the cowls. No cowls were sacrificed for these seats. GT embroidery, nice bolstering, nice design. You do have manual assist for the passenger. Because this is a GT2, I have a 10-way adjustable, I had to use my fingers, 10-way adjustable seat over here. I was like 5, 10. 10-way adjustable seat, and we got the sunroof. So nice to have that set up. I'm 6 feet tall. I got plenty of room in here. Come on over, though. I want to show you behind this flat bottom, sporty, it almost feels Italian, Italiano Kia Forte GT steering wheel. Come on over. I want to show you. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel of this Forte GT2. You'll notice that you are going to get a nice pedal box with an aluminum dead pedal, brake, and throttle, just like the Honda Civic Si. And if you're wondering, well, Joe, those look white. Those are just adhesive, protective film strips over the throttle and the brake. That's what they look like. It's aluminum, like that nice large dead pedal. You got your seat controls, 10-way adjustable. Love the piping on the seat. I think that gives a little extra something, something. And remember, the Civic Si is only available in cloth, so that's another thing to think about. But steering wheel, I promise you, flat bottom, has a Euro feel to it. Definitely feels like something out of an Italian sports car, as crazy as that sounds. Flat bottom with the silver. I like the GT badge. Love the red stitching. Simplicity on the buttons is great. You do have paddles to go up and down that 7-speed DCT. And then this one, it is manual tilting and telescoping steering wheel. We do have analog tach, analog speedometer, coolant gauge, and fuel gauge. And then you do have a 4.2-inch LED display in the center. Would be nice to get some kind of performance stuff to come up there. That would have really made my day. But other than that, I don't mind the analog gauges. I really like to kind of have a little bit of both, so that works for me. And then, of course, the modes. Smart, when you want to boost your IQ. If you're having a bad day and you feel stupid, go drive in smart mode. Normal, but you know how we're going to do it, sport. So very simplistic, and we're going to find out if these modes really have a big differentiator between the 3 of them. I'm going to say that they probably do. But why don't we go ahead, let's get in the back seat, see how your passengers are going to feel that you went Forte GT2 over the Civic Si. Let's go check it out. All right, guys, backseat time, and it's pretty close on the amount of room. As we know, the Civic Si and the Civic just in general for the 11 Gen grew a little bit. Still getting plenty of room. I'm 6 feet tall, not even close to the headliner. Now, the back of the seat, you got the faux leather, but then you got a bunch of plastic. I guess the good news is if anybody goes to puke, all the puke will splash on here, and when it dries, you could just easily just wipe it off if you're making them sick, taking them down your favorite twisty road. I do like the way you get 2 AC vents, and there's a USB-A down there. Now, there is only one, so what you're going to do is you're going to have a thumb war, but whoever wins the thumb war gets dibs on the USB-A. That's how it works in my cars, just so you know. And I'm one hell of a thumb wrestler. Check out the action on that guy. Over here, I do have one of those pesky cargo nets. Not my favorite, but the good news is you could probably put, I would say, 5 kitchen sink cookies from Panera Bread. And if you don't know what a kitchen sink cookie is, you are missing out. Get to Panera right now because I'm about to go there and get myself one of the best tasting cookies you'll ever have. You could put about 5 of those in here, and I highly recommend buying as many as you can and just eat them all. Seats, mild to medium on the softness, but you do have 2 cup holders, and I'm glad that they did the same style. You know, you look at the Civic Si. Civic Si has those bright red front seats, and then the back seats are black. They kind of look like they forgot to match the material. This looks like a cohesive design. Some people might call it more grown up, but I'm here to tell you that grown up sucks, kids. So enjoy it while it lasts, being young and youthful. But anyways, why don't we go ahead, let's get in the trunk, because I want to go on throttle in this Forte GT. All right, guys, time to get in that trunk area. What's great is that, guess what? Sedans aren't dead, especially compact ones, because you can have some really good usable space. And what the Forte brings to the table is some maximum space. 15 cubic feet of space in a compact class car. That's significant. You do have the handles to pull down those rear seats that are gonna do that 60-40 split tango to even maximize your space. So you could technically go to Lowe's and get some lumber so that you could build that treehouse that your kids have been wanting for ever since they were 5 years old. Now that they're 18, you could finally build that treehouse for them and have them move out of your house and live in the trees. But you know what? The birds, they're meant to be in the trees, and my foot is meant to be on this throttle. So if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go on throttle in the Forte GT. All right, guys, we're in this 2022 Kia Forte GT. We're pulling out onto the road. And like I said, we have the automatic version. I have it in sport mode. And one thing I just want to immediately point out is that if you have not driven one of the Kia or Hyundai products, especially with the 7-speed DCT, it is a little bit of a getting used to on how it operates. It's a little herky-jerky and not so smooth, especially going from a dead stop. So just something to be aware of. But what I do love about the Forte GT is that it feels more polished than the Honda Civic Si. The Civic Si has a little bit more of a raw quality to it, whereas the Forte GT has more of a polish, especially when it comes to the interior. Now, getting to everything is well within reach, especially with the new 10.25 infotainment system. All right, guys, we're gonna do some on throttle around this turn here. On throttle, here we go. Drops down, nice. Look at that. Held the line really great through that long right-hand sweeping kind of turn, tight sweeper. I can tell that this doesn't have a limited slip diff. The way it gets the power to the front wheels does not have a limited slip diff, and you could really feel the difference from this compared to a Civic Si. Another thing is definitely feedback. Something that Honda has down pat on point is that feedback to the steering wheel, and of course just overall sensitivity, and also the braking capability is much greater in the Civic Si. But I'm telling you, if you're looking for a sport compact car that has something other than a manual, this does bring a lot. I'm gonna go ahead, take the shifter, put it over to the S, and that's gonna allow me to shift manually with those paddles on the back of the steering wheel. You do get a small gear indicator on that 4.2-inch digital display. And I mean, the shifts are very fast, very crisp. I mean, that was a downshift and it's just instantaneous. So that's the really nice thing about that, is that it's a super smooth shifting DCT transmission. It redlines at 6,500 RPM. And now we're gonna be able to do some good on throttle here. Are you ready? I'm ready. On throttle, here we go. Braking some traction. I mean, you're not gonna break any land speed records, but it definitely is quick. It just, I don't know, there's just something about rowing through the gears in the SI that just feels more engaging and more thrilling. I guess that's a good way to put it. Seats, though, are very comfy. Actually, a lot more comfortable than the SI seats. Not as highly bolstered laterally, though. So just something to think about if you're looking for that seat that's going to hold you in a little bit more. Obviously, with the Civic Si, those seats are bolstered a little bit more on the lateral side of things. But these actually feel really good. Something that you could definitely daily drive, but also enjoy the twisty bits as well. On throttle, here we go. Fast shift, so you hit that paddle, you're gone. I don't mind the sound. I would like actually a little bit more, to be honest with you. Maybe a couple pops here and there, but I actually think it sounds better than the SI. All right, we're gonna accelerate from a dead stop again and go around this corner. Here we go, on throttle. Yeah, she's spinning up in second gear. I tell you though, once you get up and going, she's humming along, and I really like that, especially like I said, how fast the shifts are when you're using the paddle. It's definitely more fun to drive when you're manually shifting with the paddles on the back of the steering wheel. And the steering wheel itself feels great. I mean, nice and balanced, not too heavy in sport, which is good, and not too light either. Visibility is just fine, like any other Forte that we've driven on Raiti's rides lately. But here we go, on throttle. I'll tell you, very, very smooth, not too bouncy, you'll notice, as we go over the bumps here, but I think the way that they have some decent sound deadening in the right places, you're getting a little bit of road noise, but nothing too crazy, and you're definitely getting the sound of what's going on underneath the hood for sure. That's fourth, third, second. All right, guys, we're gonna go on throttle one more time for you, definitely one more time for me. Second gear, on throttle, here we go. Nice shifts. Very, very balanced. I mean, look at that. It is a fun car to drive, I'll tell you that much right now. It's just the question is, how much fun is it to drive? And it's pretty good. I need a manual. I need a manual and a limited slip diff in this thing, and I really feel like you'd be on fire. But I'm telling you, for a car daily driver and you want to have some fun too, this really brings it. I got ventilated seats on, which you're never going to have in a Civic Si, that's for sure. Watch me pitching this left-hand bed here on the brakes. Not too shabby, man. But anyways, we're going to get back to Loki Kia. Hopefully you've enjoyed this little overview of the Forte GT2. We're going to wrap it up and get back there, so I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, it's been another great day here at Loki Kia. Definitely want to thank Robert and the rest of the crew getting us access to one of their very first Kia Forte GT2s. Let me know what you think. Like I said, has Kia done enough to make this the better buy over the Honda Civic Si, or are you going with that iconic, really the first of those compact performance cars? Put your answer in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raiti's Rides family. We got to give it up to the strongest person in the world when it comes to just the craziest videography skills. Show Lori some love down in that comment section. Thank you, Lori, for your hard work and all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.